Hey, and welcome. We're about to dive into this illustrated primer on B2B digital marketing. Now, this is a really fascinating world, where companies are building these huge relationships and driving massive growth, all using digital tools. So, if you've ever been curious about how the businesses that literally build our world sell to each other, well, you are in exactly the right place. All right, here's our game plan. First, we're going to nail down what makes B2B so different. Then we'll follow the customer on their unique quest. After that, we'll open up the digital toolkit you'll need, figure out how to manage the whole thing at scale, and finally, get into how you actually measure your success. Let's jump in. So first things first, we've got to understand the landscape. B2B marketing isn't just, a slight twist on the ads you see every day. It is a completely different discipline. It has its own rules, its own rhythm. It's a whole different ballgame. So what does this actually mean? Well, we're not talking about selling a new pair of sneakers or a can of soda here. This is all about one business providing a solution for another business. A great example is a software company selling project management tools to a big construction firm. That's B2B. And this is where you see this huge contrast with the B2C, or business-to-consumer world. B2C is often about a quick sale, right? Grabbing a huge audience with an emotional hook. B2B is the complete opposite. It's more like a strategic game of chess. You've got the smaller, way more focused audience, and decisions are based on logic and value. These things can take months to unfold and are all built on super strong long-term relationships. Okay, so let's see how that plays out from the customer's point of view. Because a business doesn't just add to cart when it comes to a complex piece of software. No way. They go on what we call a quest for a solution. And for a marketer, understanding that quest is absolutely everything. And this quest, it almost always follows these three big stages. And notice this. It doesn't start with your product. It starts with their problem. In the awareness stage, they're just figuring out their challenge. Then they move into consideration, where they start looking at how they might solve it. And only at the very end do they get to the decision stage where they pick who to buy from. So as a marketer, think of yourself as the guide on this quest. You can't just start shouting about your product. You have to meet the buyer where they are. So in that awareness stage, you're a teacher offering helpful articles. Then, in consideration, you become an advisor, giving them deep dive case studies. And only in that final decision stage do you really become a salesperson offering demos and proof. All right, so you get the landscape. You understand the journey. But what do you actually use to guide these buyers? Let's open up the digital toolkit and take a look at the essential instruments that every B2B marketer needs in their belt. These right here are your absolute workhorses. SEO is how you get found. Content marketing is how you prove you're an expert. Email is that direct line to build a relationship. Social media, especially a place like LinkedIn, is where you go to hang out in their professional world. And of course, PPC ads let you get super targeted. But see how they all point back to your website? That's your home base. The real magic happens when you get all of them working together in harmony. Now here's where a huge B2B challenge pops up. You might have hundreds of potential customers, and they're all at different stages of this really long journey. So how on earth do you manage all of those individual relationships without going crazy? Well, the first piece of the puzzle is marketing automation, honestly. Just think of it as your brilliant, tireless assistant. So if someone downloads a guide, the system can automatically send them a relevant case study a week later, totally on its own. It's what keeps that relationship warm, guiding them along their path without you having to lift a finger for every single person. The second piece is your CRM. If automation is the assistant doing the work, the CRM is the brain. It's like a master digital ledger. It's that single source of truth that stores every email, every phone call, every single interaction you've had with a contact. It gives your whole team, both marketing and sales, one unified picture of every customer relationship. It's so critical. Okay, let's get to the bottom line. You can have the best tools, the best strategy in the world. But if you can't measure your impact, you're basically just guessing. And in B2B, proving the value of what you do isn't just nice to have, it is absolutely essential. And these are the numbers that really matter. We're moving way beyond things like website visits or likes. B2B marketing is judged on its ability to generate high-quality leads, what we call marketing qualified leads, or MQLs. Success is all about its direct contribution to revenue using metrics like customer acquisition cost, and the big one, your overall return on investment. Let's make this super concrete. Let's do a little practical exercise. Imagine you spend $1,000 on a campaign. From that, you get £50 new leads. 2 of those leads end up becoming customers, bringing in a total of £6,000. So how do you figure out the return on that first $1,000? The first step is pretty simple. We want to find our cost per lead, the CPL. All you do is take the total cost, $1,000, and divide it by the number of leads, which was £50. And that gives you a cost per lead of just £20. That's a real solid number you can track and try to improve over time. And here it is. This is the number that gets everybody excited. Your £1,000 investment brought in £6,000 in revenue. So to get the ROI, you take that revenue, subtract your initial cost, and then divide that by the cost, and that leaves you with a 500% return on investment. This is the math that proves marketing isn't a cost, it's a revenue engine. Wow, okay, we have covered a lot of ground here, right? From strategy tools to the metrics. But the real journey to expertise isn't about knowing a tiny bit about everything. As this quote says, real success. It comes from picking a few areas. Maybe it's content and SEO for you, or maybe it's automation and analytics, and just deciding to truly master them. And that brings us to the end of our primer. You now have the foundational map to the entire B2B digital marketing world. So the only question left is, which territory are you going to go explore first on your path to becoming an expert?